Hi everyone, welcome to round 2 of the Nuremberg tournament in 1896. In this game, Laskers is playing a guy named Schiffers, who was a pretty strong player at that time. And we're going to start off the video by taking a look at this position. White has just played the move e4, opening up the bishop on the knight, and then black took this pawn, basically attacking our knight. So the question here is, what move should white play? Pause your video, try to figure out what you would do here in a game. Okay, so Lasker played the move bishop takes a6, which turns out not to be the best move. Because after pawn takes knight, we can't do something like bishop to b7, because queen e7 checks the king and attacks the bishop. However, white has a really strong move in this position, which is knight to h4. So we're attacking the bishop, and we're still attacking the knight. And after bishop to c8, we have the very strong move, bishop to c4, attacking this knight on g8. The only real thing we can do with that knight is maybe put it on e7, because if knight h6, we could take the knight on h6, then bishop f7 check. But this is just hopeless for black after bishop f4 with the threat of queen e6 checkmate. So that sequence is pretty forcing, and yes, black does have some weird ways to make it a little complicated. For example, something like g5 and the knight is trapped. But this position's, castle's pawn takes knight. This position is very bad for black. It should be obvious just by looking at it. The king is stuck in the middle of the board. White's pieces are all pretty well developed. Maybe bishop f4. Probably even this works. Because if you take check, followed by check, and takes on h8. So, I mean, the position is just really bad. And Lasker had a chance to put him away pretty early, in my opinion. But instead he played bishop takes a6. And now the game took a real turn for the worst. So he castled, and now bishop to d6. And the rest of the game, there's not going to be too much input for you guys. I just kind of want to show you what happens. So bishop b7 was played with the idea of attacking the rook and the pawn. But after bishop takes h2 check, things are now annoying. He played king takes h2, but if king e1, king h1, knight e7, really? That's a weird move. I don't even understand that move. Why did I have that in my notes? Why can't white just take on a8? I am very confused. 1 second. Okay, look, the idea is bishop takes queen d4, and we have like a crushing attack. But I mean, even without knight e7, we could play pawn takes pawn. And after king takes pawn, it's just like a really strong attack. Maybe just bring the bishop back, for example. White wins the exchange, but white's king also gets really exposed. It's a little more complicated than I'm making it out to be, but in the end of the day, he decided to avoid that, and it's not the main point of the game. So he just took this and gave up a pawn. He's actually down 2 pawns on the board, if you look closely. Black castle's queenside, which he maybe overlooked that this was possible. Pawn takes, queen takes, and they just traded queens, and now black is up 2 pawns. Now, if you remember, I talked about the luck meter in this game, and in this tournament, sorry, if you watched the first video. In this game, it definitely comes into play, because black looks like they're going to win this game. They're up 2 pawns. White doesn't really have an attack. Like rook a7, rook d7. And the knight on g6 is fortunately defending the rook. So they traded rooks, and black is not only... Okay, black can't take because rook a8 would win the rook on h8, but he simply plays this move. d5, a good idea to try to get the knight into the game. Black took and white took. Not certain that was the best idea, but that's what he did. Rook e... Oh, he probably should have played rook e2, but instead he went knight takes f4. And now pawn takes f4 to give himself the idea of knight e7. And for whatever reason, he kind of decided to sort of give up his dream of winning the game and simply played rook to e2. I'm not sure quite how it happened because black was up 2 pawns. I don't think he had really enough compensation. I mean, in a position like this, after d5, takes, I think like there's not even a clear threat. Like maybe rook to e2 would be a good idea. Although, no, sorry, knight b6 is really annoying. I kind of forget exactly how I would have gone about this for black. Let's say take. Rook e8, d5. Yeah, I mean, one key move, simply rook e7 here. Yeah, according to my notes, this is annoying because, I mean, black still has 2 extra pawns, and if rook check, king b7. And now we've kind of consolidated our position a bit. If rook b8, king a7, and we're threatening knight takes bishop. But whatever, he just kind of just agreed that a draw was okay. He took, pawn takes, rook e2, and, you know, black's going to win the b2 pawn at least. White's only going to have the f pawns, and so white can just go knight e7, king b8, knight check. If the king comes this way, we can take a bishop off, so we won't do that. And basically, white has a forced draw here. So as I was looking at this game, I was like, okay, okay, Lasker escaped. Good job. And this is what really shocked me, is he didn't take the draw. He played the move rook takes g7, which just totally flabbergasted me. I'm sorry, he went king to g3. And then after rook, wait a second. No, he played rook takes g7. Why is my, sorry, chess.com, sometimes notation gets a little messed. No, he went king g3, my bad. Why is the game not continuing from here? There we go. Rook takes b2. Rook takes g7. And I just couldn't believe it because if you look at the position, black has an outside b pawn, and white only has, you know, these double f pawns. Like, how can he ever win? It's like seemingly impossible. And just kind of watch what happens. King b8 to stop knight e7 check. Knight takes f6. So now we have a passed pawn too. But usually in these positions, bishops play pretty well. Rook g5 though. Attack the bishop. Attack the bishop again. Push the pawn. Somehow white's pawn's going a lot faster than you would expect. Rook a2 was played to kind of get the rook back to help stop this pawn. He just keeps pushing it. Rook g8 and king e7. And now it looks like he's kind of run out of steam. The king is back. How is white going to win this position? He goes king f4, rook g7. I'm not sure if he's threatening anything just yet. Rook h8 was played, just defending the h-pawn, which looks okay to me. Also fine, however, was king f6, rook takes, and then rook check. King g3, bishop takes. The only move here is like really knight takes, and then king to g6, and this is just a dead draw. So that was one sequence that would have led to like a forced draw pretty quickly. But okay, instead he played rook h8. You know, he missed that opportunity. King to g5. So I mean he's going to bring the king to h6, I suppose. Although it's still not easy to do anything. Like rook g8, black can just take it. He played h6 check. Bishop e6. Rook f8. Rook h7. Again, it's like starting to get unpleasant, but still seems very hard. You just have one pawn. b4. But now this move is very annoying. And after king takes, king f6. Threatening all kinds of unpleasant ideas like rook h8 check, king takes bishop, and so forth. He played the move bishop to g8. It turns out the best idea is to just give up that bishop right away and go rook c2. And that white really doesn't have a forced mate here, so we have time to take this pawn and probably draw the game. Is that true? Just curious how we draw here. Because we're threatening rook h8 mate, and if this move, I guess this is a draw. If rook check, then back. And I don't see anything forced, although it's scary. But instead in the game, he went bishop g8. And now white played a good move, rook e7, threatening knight to g6, checkmate. And black is only really, and if bishop here, what can white do? There's an important mating pattern, knight check, and rook g7. So he played bishop h7, rook takes, and now he's in real trouble. Knight g6 is an idea again, but we're also just attacking the b-pawn. Rook e7. Uh-oh, the king cannot come here because of rook b7 mate. So he had to do this, and then king e6, which is a bit of a jerk move because rook e8 would have won the rook. But now we're threatening rook d7 mate. Rook a7 was played for some weird reason. And for some reason, yeah, I'm sure he went rook to d7 mate. And that was the end of the game. So this is where he got his first point in the luck meter, because they considered his position lost, but he ended up winning the game. He was down 2 pawns. He went for this position with only this f-pawn. Like, unbelievable that he was able to win that. And, Lasker was good at kind of pushing his little edges, just like Carlsen today. He would push positions that nobody else would expect you to push. So thanks, guys, for watching. I will see you tomorrow with another game from this tournament. Bye-bye.